My question relates to something that just came up in response to a letter to Senators Carper and Whitehouse with respect to the security detail. Because it's been your position that you were essentially accepting the security that was recommended to you by the folks who are responsible for security, right? That's the position you've taken.
Those decisions are made by career law enforcement officials at the agency.
Okay. Have you seen the response from the IG's office? It's a May.
I have, in fact, I have it right here before me.
Okay. So what it says is that, in fact, you made the request for 24/7 protection on the day you were confirmed as administrator. Is that true?
On page 5 of the report, Senator, it says the decision to provide 24/7 was made by the Office of Criminal Enforcement, OSEF, at the agency.
I'm reading in response to question number 5. It says this is the response from the IG at the EPA.
I'm reading from the same language.
The EPA Office of Criminal Enforcement, Forensics, and Training has informed the OIG that EPA's Protective Service Detail began providing 24/7 coverage of the administrator the first day he arrived at the EPA. The decision was made by the Office of Criminal Enforcement, Forensics, and Training after being informed that Mr. Pruitt recommended 24/7 protection once he was confirmed back in February. Is that true? Did you request it once you were right when you were
I was
confirmed?
aware of communications taking place. I was not at the agency at the time. That was before confirmation. And the decision to provide 24/7 security was made, as indicated by this report, by law enforcement career officials at the agency.
Yeah. Mr. Pruitt, what this letter says, the plain language of this letter, I read it, was that you requested it, and there have been lots of hearings, as the chairman and ranking member know, in the House and the Senate, where you've been pointing to an August 2017 report, document by the Inspector General, which they make very clear was not a threat assessment, but that it was a report. You've been pointing to that as justification for this increased in this 24/7 security, when in fact it turns out you requested the first day back in February.
You're mixing issues here.
Okay.
The Inspector General investigates threats. The Protective Service Detail provides the threat assessment. And so that's the distinction. And the Protective Service Detail at the agency made the decision about the 24/7 coverage. The Inspector General report you're talking about in August is simply a compilation of threats that existed at the time, where they're investigating the types of threats at that moment.
I'm not confused at all, Mr. Mitchell. The whole argument you made over time is that you have faced all these additional threats, when in fact it turns out, at least according to this IG report, that you made the request for 24/7 security the first day that you were in office. Is that true or not true?
Senator, your time has expired well over, so we will have an opportunity in the second round